Yeah. What up though? What up though? How ya? How ya? How ya? What up? How are you guys doing? Good evening. We in here. We are in here. Welcome to another episode of 1 Billion Brave, the show that has 1 billion people in the world that lets people know that although you have a disability, we about to break that stigma beyond our condition. Okay. Are y'all ready for this? Are you guys ready for this episode? It don't matter if you are because y'all got to. That's just what it is. So let's start from the top. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of 1 Billion Brave. I'm your host, Domo Jones. I am an author, a disability confidence coach. I got a few little businesses on the side, but we're not talking about me. We're about to get into it. Get in there, get in there. Can y'all tell like I'm really hyped? Can you guys tell? I had an energy drink and whoo, I am on 100. All right, so let's get into it. So you already know we gotta hit up the what? Don't need get it together. We gotta hit up the house rules. Let's get it. So no profanity. We don't do that on this show. Why? Because there's so many words in the dictionary and in the word that we can use to get our point across. So let's use them. Right? 2, no bashing of gender, politics, religion. None of that. None of that. Why? Because from all the nations he made, from one blood he made all the nations. Dominique, you gonna get it together tonight in Jesus' name. From one blood he made all the nations, so we're pretty much family. Like we kinfolk, we cousins. You my auntie, uncle, all that jazz. This show is about disability. This show is about essential caregivers. This show is to let people know that although we have a disability, that doesn't stop us. And these are stories of people's lives that are willing to share what they go through, what they deal with, but also how they overcome it. Point blank in the period. That's how we get down. And the most important thing, what up, Mia? The most important thing of this show is the very first show that has a host that is disabled with guests that have disabilities, limitations, or essential caregivers. Oprah, come on. Just leave the front door unlocked and just have my dog on fruit snacks ready. Like that's it. That's all. That's all I'm asking. Oprah, I need to see you. That's it. That's it. Okay, y'all. So let me tell you why I'm so hyped. I am so hyped because God is so good. Oh, and this is but after all that, the most important thing is we're gonna talk about Jesus Christ on this show. I don't know what y'all thought this was. Jesus Christ is going to be talked about on this show. Why? Because he's the main source. Without him, we are nothing. And that's including you. He gets all the major clout. So let me tell y'all why I'm so excited. Because we have 2 sponsors. Oh my gosh. Like, listen, 1 Billion Brave Show is doing big things in a small world. All right, so let's get into it. The first sponsor is the Ashley Inn and Co. Boom, y'all see the logo? Listen, for the everyday woman, if you like stylish clothes, if you like comfy clothes, it's the everyday woman. You just want to kind of spruce it up a little bit, but you want to be comfortable. Listen, go follow the Ashley Inn and Co on IG at the Ashley Inn and Co. And also go hit up her Facebook page. Okay, 2 Live Crew, get in there. Why? Because her Facebook page, listen, she has sales, she got little pop-ups, she got all that. So please, if every woman in here, whether you have a disability or not, you wear clothes, go follow the Ashley Inn and Co on IG and the Everyday Woman on Facebook. Also, Let me tell you about this other sponsor though. New You Services. For those that are new business owners and you just really don't really have any knowledge of what to do, where to start, where to go, from logos to merchandise to stationery, anything custom, New You Services got you. It's a one-stop shop. If you need, and if you know of anyone that needs any business logos, any custom anything, follow New You with a K, New You Services on IG, or email newuservices@gmail.com. Boom. We in there. Okay, so let's get into the life of Domo. I just got a question. It's a real quick question. My question is, what are some things, or what is one thing that you do out of convenience to kind of make your life a little bit easier? Because, we have those of us that have disabilities, we can't really do and be and go everywhere like we want to. So we got to do a lot of compromising in our lives. And I'm going to say it first. We have to do a lot of compromising. So what's one thing? I'll go first. These locks. Listen, my right side, for those that don't know, my right side is weaker than my left, right? So I can't really do a lot of lifting and a lot of grabbing with my right side. So that means like brushing, combing, putting my hair in a ponytail, all that wrapping. I can't do all that. So I love my hair, and I still want it to look like I got some kind of sense. I am a woman. So I was like, yo, let's get locks. It's low maintenance, but it still keeps the femininity in me. You feel me? My hair could be frizzy, but it's still done. Point blank in the period. What is one thing that us as disability community, what's one thing that we do, or that you do, that just makes your life a little bit easier? One less thing you got to worry about, because we deal with so much. Well, what's one less thing? Let me know, cause I'm really eager to know. And let me tell you another thing. Okay, so I know you guys have seen. I know you guys have seen my dealings with my glasses. I know many of you have seen I wear different type of glasses. Okay, mom, I'm still fine. Put me in the period. I know you guys have seen um different types and shapes and shades of glasses that I wear, that I've worn on the show. Now, let me tell you, my heart is skipped a little bit because I broke not one pair, but two pair of my glasses. Now, we're not going to talk about the fact that I have 16 more. That's not the point. The point is, that's two options that I can't wear anymore. My heart stopped. Like, I was really heartbroken. I was really heartbroken because my glasses are my thing. Like, that's my signature. That's one of my signatures. And two options, I have no more. So I guess that means that I have to replace them. That's the only way, right? That's all I'm saying. It's just pretty much the only way. That's it. All right, so let's get into it. Yo, are y'all ready for my next guest? I'm gonna tell y'all, I literally met her 15 minutes ago. Literally. So I do not know her story. And I love that, because the first time you guys are hearing it, I'm hearing it as well. So all the reactions that y'all see is legit. Too legit to quit. Let's bring on Michelle. Let's go. What I do?
Hello. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Okay, so for those that don't know, please introduce yourself and where are you from?
Okay. My name is Michelle Steiner, and I am from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So what time is it out there?
It is 10 o'clock.
So it's 7 out here. So we gonna listen. I already know it's your wind down time. Well, we definitely thank you again for being a guest on the show. I definitely don't take it lightly. I appreciate it. Let's get right into it. Can you tell us your disability and a little bit about um some of the things that you deal with?
Sure. Thank you for having me on here too, by the way, Domo. My disability is I have a learning disability, and I have people can't aren't able to see that I have a learning disability. I have a hidden disability, and I also have the type of disability that involves, with my learning disability, involves math. So when
Mhm.
most people hear learning disability, they think automatically dyslexia, or
Right.
they'll think reading. And they don't understand sometimes that I struggle with things such as trying to total up how much something might cost at the store, or how numbers work.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond just having, like, with not being able to figure out things. I might struggle with right and left confusion. That's a big part of how.
Mm. Hmm.
Eye hand coordination. That is another issue that comes up as well.
So how did you even find out that you even had this condition? And then how did you find out that it was specifically toward like math and like hand and eye coordination?
Okay. Whenever I was in kindergarten, my preschool teacher, or my kindergarten teacher, thought there's something that's really going on. My preschool teacher thought it as well. They recommended another year of preschool, but I was my parents' first child. So
Mhm.
they thought, okay, she'll catch up. And when I went into school, I was really struggling with doing dot to dot pages. I couldn't tie my shoes. I struggled with math. I had a lot of social skills problems. So what the school did, they recommended that I get tested for having a learning disability. So I had the school psychologist did a lot of testing, and they told my parents that I have a learning disability and that I was going to have to repeat kindergarten. And
Mhm.
they knew from a really young age that I wasn't going to be able to get math. The school psychologist was pretty much aware that was where the main disability was.
Mhm.
So what ended up happening was they moved me to another school within our district the following year. And I repeated kindergarten, and I began to get specialty services for my disability. And I was also in with some regular education as well. So that was the beginnings.
Was it were there many challenges on, first of all, realizing that you have the learning disability, but also just trying to keep up because you had it when you were young. So typically when you're young is when you kind of learn the foundation of everything.
It was really difficult because I would watch my peers and everything came a lot easier to them.
Yeah.
I would study and I still wouldn't do well on tests. I didn't think I was very smart. It was really frustrating. And I'm really blessed to have had wonderful parents that they didn't give up on me.
Yeah.
And the school educated them a lot on um, disabilities. And, they just always encouraged me to do my best and that I was going to find my way and it was all going to work out. But the beginning school years were really difficult for me. A lot of it had to do too that you rely so much on rote memory, and when you
Right.
have a brain that works differently, sometimes that can be really difficult to remember things and to just it got a lot easier in all areas except for math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Listen, I don't have a learning disability, but
Mhm.
math is like the hardest subject. I'm good in English. Give me a paper to write, give me some grammar. But math is always difficult. So I can already imagine the more severity it was for you. What were like some of the techniques or some of the tricks of the trade that you kind of used to help you navigate through school?
Well, one of the things that we would do was extended test time. That was a big thing
Mm,
because my brain needed the chance to be able to process what they were
process.
asking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Having the test read aloud to me became really important too. Just sometimes hearing the words made a little more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with math, definitely having a math that was catered to what my ability was, not what a curriculum was necessarily. And we would do things like graph paper with math to attempt to keep things in order. Another part of something that we figured out was I can't tell time on the face of a clock because of the disability. So I have a
Mm.
Fitbit, digital, digital clock. Definitely doing that.
That's
Um,
interesting.
mhm. Yeah, just can't. I mean, I can tell
Wow.
time to the hour, but if you would give me a cold read or you would give me something like half past or things like that, can't do it. And for the long time, that I think that has to be something that it's really hard for other people to understand because they're like, you'd ask, oh, what time is it? Well, there's a clock over there, and I'm like, well, I can see that.
Right. But I can't really see that.
Right. Um,
Yeah, man, like Ashley said, I wish more people would speak
mhm.
about this in school because it's so it's so common, yet people don't want to talk about it.
Right.
It's like
Exactly.
it's like nobody wants to feel like they're, how can I say it? Nobody wants to feel as if they're struggling in school.
Right.
They don't want to feel like the oddball. So for you, how was that even when you went to like high school? Because high school is like everyone's prime time, right? So what was that for you in high school when it came to learning? Um, were your friends, did they accept you? Did you have to explain it?
I had really a difficult time all throughout the years of school, and it got a lot worse when I was in high school. Uh,
Mm,
Part of it was I grew up in a very small town. It's not very diverse. If you
yeah,
don't fit in with them, it's
you
pretty much
you out.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're an outsider. And there was really no group I really fit in with. I would go to my learning support classes, and a lot of the other ones in that class, they struggled more with reading, and I struggled more with the math. Uh, some of them, they had behavior problems, and I'm not sure if they had learning disabilities, but they were kind of all put together um, in the one room. And then with the regular ed kids, a lot of them, it wasn't all of them, but a lot of them didn't want to hang out with me because they thought, well, you go to a learning support,
right.
you're just like them, or you're getting all the answers. So that was really a challenge. One of the things that did help was there was a neighboring town that had an art group that with kids my own age, and I got to meet some other kids that I didn't go to high school with, and I started to be feeling a lot more accepted, and I was able to tell my story. And that's just, yeah, I had a couple people that were nice to me. I usually think if I don't really remember you, you probably were
Right.
nice. And there were a few that were kind, and I definitely appreciate that. But it was hard.
Man, yeah, that's like my mom said, every solution isn't medication. And that's so true. Like everyone thinks that medication is the save all be all.
No,
No, there's so many other solutions that need to be dealt with and addressed,
right,
like
exactly.
invisible disabilities, because that's
Right.
a real thing.
I agree. Yeah, definitely.
That's a real thing. So, okay, question. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
I do know that typically people that have invisible disabilities are enhanced in like arts and
Mhm.
dances, and
Yep.
is that right?
Yeah, I can remember that. I remember hearing that when I was a lot younger, and just recently that has come out. A lot of it's my husband has been supporting supporting me. One of the things I like to do along with the writing is I like photography.
Uh,
And I will take pictures of flowers or butterflies, and I'll have people say to me, "You bring out these details that I don't see when I have a flower." Or
right.
and I'm also not able to drive because of my disability. But the real nice thing about that is I'll go on a walk and I'm able to take pictures and miss details that people might have if they're driving their car. So that
Ah,
helps too.
okay, I mean, this is so informative because this is so interesting to me because I never really delved into, I know about invisible
Mhm,
disabilities, but I never really delved into the intricate details of what that looks like. I didn't know
mhm.
that because of your disability, you aren't able to drive. Okay, so can you explain
Sure.
why?
Sure. And let me point out there are people that have learning disabilities that can do it as well. When you meet one person that has one, you met one person.
Right.
In my case, I have a visual perception problem. It's not with my eyes, it's with my brain, and it affects my reaction time. It affects trying to focus in on other vehicles and myself driving. Just that coordination kind of comes in with being able
Okay, the
to.
coordination part.
Mhm.
Okay, that
Understand
makes
that,
sense. That
yeah.
makes sense. So the beautiful thing is, despite your learning disability and your limitation, you found a husband who don't care.
Right, exactly. I mean, that was yeah, that took, some time, and it was the right person that he doesn't. That's not a factor. I mean, there has been some learning curves with having a disability and kind of what that means in our relationship, but he was the first one that asked me on our first date when I told him I had that. He was the first one ever asked me, "Well, how does that make you feel?"
Wow.
And I knew, okay, I'm with the right person.
Yeah, because that's a rare question for a
Mhm.
male to ask. That means that they're interested in knowing who you are.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I've had other people too that they weren't okay with the driving, and that's important because if somebody and other aspects too, if they're not okay with having the disability, well, this is a part of me. It's not the whole thing,
Right.
but
It's
it
only a small segment.
exactly, yeah. But yeah, I'm
That's
very blessed.
that. Do you have any siblings?
I have a brother, and
Okay.
he does not have a learning disability. And one of my nieces, well, two of them, yeah, they don't seem to have that. And in fact, one of them, she got an award for math. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
go.
you definitely don't.
Yeah, she's very smart, and they both are. So,
Wow,
mhm,
that is amazing. That's good to hear. And for people that do have disabilities or limitations, that is something that I feel like we all need to keep in mind that there is someone out there that couldn't care less. They could not care less about what physical
right.
ailments, what
Mhm,
invisible ailments you're dealing with. They love you and they will love you for who you are as a person.
exactly.
And I think that's dope. Yeah, you're definitely a pillar of hope.
Well, thank you
You
very
definitely are.
much.
Are there certain things that you and your husband do to kind of um help you out with life?
Right. Transportation is a big thing because with not being able to drive, I do need someone that can take me to where I need to go, and so he's great with doing that. When we can make that work out. He also will help me, like if we're in Walmart and it's really crowded. I also have issues with hand dexterity. So we'll have a cart and he'll help me sometimes with steering the cart around the store, or if there's somebody asks something and I don't understand, or if
Yeah.
there's something that comes up, he's really great for helping me out with all of that.
That's a really good. That's yeah, I love that. I love that. I like that he makes what you're dealing with a lot easier to handle.
Right.
because what you're dealing with is already a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So he takes a lot of the pressure off you, and he just lets you. He allows you to live.
Right,
Just,
right. Definitely.
just live. I love that. I think that's like super dope. So now, current time, what is, now that you have this learning disability and you found ways and you found things to do to cope, to
Mhm.
live with it, are there certain things and ways that you help others?
Yes, I work as a paraprofessional or a teacher's aide for a school in our area, and I work with a lot of students that have disabilities and some that don't. But being able to lock eyes with a kid that might have has the same struggles that you
Yeah,
do, and you can see yourself at that age and try to remember how you felt, and just being able to help them out is just so rewarding.
I think that's so dope. It's like you're giving back
I try.
because you know what that feels like. Like you know what that looks like.
Right,
You
exactly.
and what's one of your fondest memories of having your profession?
One of my fondest memories, I think, is when you have a student that can look at you and say that they thank you for when you help them out, and just seeing them smile and just knowing that you made a difference.
That's dope. Yeah, I definitely love that. I think that's what makes life worth living, because I feel as though when the disabilities and the limitations that we have are not for us.
Right.
They're for other people, to show them that their condition is not that bad enough to where they can't live.
Exactly. Yep.
And I think that's super dope. Oh, grandma, yeah. My
Oh
grandma worked with special ed for 20 years. Wow,
my
grandma.
goodness. Wow.
Time on the floor.
That's great.
Grandma, I'm gonna have you on the show.
It should be great. Yeah.
Man, because that's a boatload of experience. Yeah,
Definitely.
I think working in special ed and dealing with special education is that is a heart that you really need compassion for,
Yep.
because it's not easy.
Right. No, yeah.
It's definitely not easy. So what are have do you travel? Do you and your husband travel? Do you guys
Yep.
do, like like what is you and your husband's kind of like Nick?
Well, we definitely like to go on adventures and to travel places. We generally do a lot of things, mostly local things like over the weekends. We'll go to like art galleries, or we'll go to flower shows. We,
Mhm.
we love to do that, or to go outside and to walk. And we like to go to New York and places like that
How
to go.
far is New York from where you are?
I'm thinking it's about a good 8 hours. I'm trying to remember, but I mean, it's not that bad. It depends on where you're going. We love to, we'll go to Niagara Falls, or we'll go to New York City, and we do a lot of trips to Ohio to art
Oh, that's
galleries,
cool.
things. I mean, we try to get out.
Travel the world. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that. So can we talk about your blog?
sure.
I need people to hear about this blog that you're doing, because I think it's super
Right.
dope. I've read a lot of the articles
Well,
myself.
yes. My blog is called Michelle's Mission. And what it deals with is um, having a learning disability, and just the life that articles, a lot of metaphors that I do. I try to compare it to things like flowers. Things are my passions, like flowers or teapots, and how that kind of relates back to having a disability. And I have some of my artwork on there as well, some of my photographs that are up. And I just really try to educate people on what it is like for me to have a learning disability.
Hmm. I think the dopest one, the most interesting one that I read,
Hmm.
was the one that you just posted recently about building a home with
Right.
disability. I was like, yo, that is so dope.
Well, thank you.
I think that is like super dope, because we don't think about accommodating things for us. We accommodate us for things.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it's just, yeah, right, because we have to, yeah, build that foundation. And you're right, we do accommodate for a lot of other people, and it's not,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it's just about building the foundation for the knowledge that has to be there, and not being able to stop until you have, yeah, and then you can build upon once you have the basics down. So,
Right. Yeah, my grandma said you have to be special also because they feel if you really care. And
right.
they do. They can tell
Oh
if
yeah,
you really care about them or not.
that's true. Kids are really good at that. They can tell if someone cares or,
They could tell.
right.
I don't know how, but they feel it.
They
Even
can't.
they definitely feel it. I think grandma that come on, grandma. You better talk. I love that. So, is there something, or are there a few things that you kind of want to do, or you're looking forward to in the next few months, in the next year? Something that you're a project that you're working on?
Well, one of the things I am trying to work on is a book on. Well, I have a couple, and I have two actually. One is a children's book about learning disabilities, because I think it's really important that young kids see other people that have disabilities and
Yes.
have an understanding of that. And I'm also trying to do one on my life and my experiences with having a disability, and just having what has worked for me. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I love that. I think that's very needed because, like I said earlier, it's not talked about.
right,
It's like taboo. So I really do think that that needs to be spoken, and that needs to be yelled out aloud because people are dealing with it secretly, and it don't have to be. You don't got to live like that. There's help out there.
right, exactly.
There's definitely help out there for someone that is dealing with a learning disability or a
Mhm.
hidden disability and is afraid to share it or expose it. What's one thing that you can kind of tell them just to motivate them or to help them what you did?
I think the main thing is that when you share that and you get a chance to connect with somebody else that has a learning disability or a disability in general, it's so healing. And it's just that there's that connection that you get. And I would just tell people, you might want to choose your audience. You may not want to go and shout it out to everybody in the beginning, but just finding, somebody that, especially online, there's a lot of groups that they have, like through
So
Facebook, the Mighty, where I've gotten a lot of my articles published from. They have specific learning disability groups and a lot of social events that people
yeah,
come together virtually. uh, it's just encouraging people to reach out, because I know I was hesitant before I shared my story, because it's hard, because you're so afraid that you're going to get that rejection. And I
exactly.
really have had a nice reception from other people. I've only maybe, encountered maybe a couple negative, but it wasn't even that really that bad. But it's all mainly positive, and
Yeah, it's healing.
it
Like
is. It is.
that's literally what it is. It's healing for people. How can people reach you? I definitely want you,
Okay.
please let people know, like, how can they reach you? How can they read your blogs? How can they find you? If they have questions, how can they connect with you?
Right. My blog is Michelle's Mission, and I can put that, up for people if they're interested. And
Gabe, can you put that on the screen, please?
sure, let me go and get that.
Gabe's gonna put it on the screen.
Oh, Gabe will put it on the screen. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
Gabe.
Thank you. Yeah, my blog is great. I'm on Facebook too. I mean, if anyone wants to, and Instagram. So yeah.
What's your IG name?
I'm trying to think there. It is
I think
Steiner. Yeah.
Steiner.
725.
It's Steiner and some numbers. I do
I
know that.
know numbers for that. Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness.
It's okay. It's
Okay.
okay. I'll put it on the I'll
Thank
put it
you.
on, yeah. For anyone that's looking for Michelle, I will put it on the 1 Billion Brave website under resources. and it'll be under learning disability, and it'll have all her information, her blog information, her Facebook, her IG. It'll boom. I got you.
Thank you so
Boom.
much.
Thank you, Gabe.
Thank you, Gabe.
Thank you, Gabe.
Yes, thank you.
7250. See,
Okay.
that's why I love Gabe. That's why I love Gabe. Gabe,
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Michelle, for being on the show. I definitely appreciate it. I don't take it lightly. Again, I say
Oh,
that very humbly, because it's hard sharing things that you deal with, but it's also healing to share things that you deal with.
well, thank you. I
And
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Definitely do. I definitely do. Okay, so you already know we gotta do it before you go. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, so the before you go is, for those that don't know, before you go, I is something that I do with all my guests. I ask them a very impromptu question. It has nothing to do with what we've talked about, and she got to answer before she goes.
Okay.
That's it. Period. Okay, so before you go, question is, what is one word that you would want to say for the rest of your life? If you had one word.
The one word that I would probably like to say is respect.
R-E-S-P-C-T.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes. I like that word. I like it. Respect. Point. And that's, listen, everybody in the world needs to respect each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I love that. Ain't she, Mom?
Thank
Such a
you.
beautiful
Oh,
spirit.
thank
Thank
you.
you again so much, Michelle, for being a guest on the show. Listen, we friends now. I met you for the first time
Yeah.
today, and now we friends for life. Like, you stuck with me.
Oh, yes, definitely. I
Stuck with me. I
am.
had a friend in Pennsylvania, y'all.
And I got one in California.
We friends. Thank you again so much. Gabe's gonna put you in the back. We're
Okay.
gonna end it, and then I'm gonna talk to you after the show. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yo, listen, that was so informative. Like, we don't talk about invisible disabilities at all. Ever. Like, nobody talks about invisible disabilities. So I'm very grateful that she was able to share her story and her journey, and she was also able to help people and inform people of what to do. Y'all, reach out to her. Michelle Steiner, reach out to her. Are y'all ready for the word value for tonight? The word value is, Gabe, what's the word? Listen, you on it. Believe in the law of confession. Believe what you speak. Come on. Listen, y'all not ready. Y'all not ready. Y'all not ready. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, commenting. I definitely appreciate it. Next week, we are live Tuesday at 12 p.m. I'm going to start telling y'all what time the next shows are, because they're going to fluctuate depending on where people live. Okay. So next Tuesday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, we will be live and in living color with my next guest, and they about to be dope. Tune in. Listen, catch me on IG, 1 Billion Brave, and on Facebook, 1 Billion Brave. I love y'all. I'm about to go eat me some turkey. Because when you're in the light swimwear, Gabe, you already know what to do. Get me out of here.